What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Dead Red Podcast. Sox Arizona joins me as usual. Just getting situated, so obviously the lighting is not that great. But Sox, how are you doing? Obviously, the Red Sox are back at 500 now, and you guys ultimately got Joe Maddon fired. Please explain that. I'm gonna just set up my lighting properly.
Yeah, well, the Angels have. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it. The Angels have really struggled recently, and luckily, the Red Sox are on that West Coast road trip that we see a couple not so good teams. We saw Oakland got that good sweep, and the Angels have proven why they had to fire their manager. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's much discipline going on there now. I think the losing streak is 13 or 14 in a row. We've been really able to take advantage of that. Luckily, I think Nevin is the step-in manager there, so we'll see how that goes. We got another win last night. Keep this thing rolling, but things are looking good for the Red Sox lately. The rest of the AL East keeps winning, though, so that's one of the issues.
Yeah,
of
course. Give me one more second. I'll be with you.
And but no, I think it's a good chance for the Red Sox to get on pace here. Like we talked about, they're seeing a couple not so good ball clubs on this road trip. Seattle's after Anaheim here, so hopefully we can just sweep this whole thing and it'd be big news.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wild card standings right now. You're 3.5 out.
Yeah, so these games with LA are almost double important because they're right there in the race with us. So super good to get some wins on the board, man.
As for my Yankees, we lost yesterday. I will be on with NYY News TV tonight for game season, but once again, shouts to everybody in the chat. At some point this show, probably maybe the first thing we knock off our list once I get myself situated is all-star voting. So it was officially started yesterday. Me and my brother did a ballot on the Twin Bill podcast. Me and Sox will probably knock it out. I know last week we talked about we talked about which Red Sox and Yankees would be all-star. Shouts to Tony in the chat. What's going on, Tony? But yeah, also, even though this podcast was meant for mostly baseball, I want to ask you about this. What do you think of the Warriors' comments towards Boston fans?
Yeah, I first things first, as a diehard Celtics fan, I'm not surprised by any of the stuff that goes on. And to be honest with you, I think it happens in all arenas everywhere. Probably worse here now that it's the NBA Finals, escalated environment. But I just think it's petty that there's so many excuses rotating around why the Warriors are losing games, and that's part of it. It makes me think, what, none of these guys have ever heard the words "fuck you" before. They're saying they shouldn't be saying this in front of my kids, all this stuff. I mean, they're going to hear that at I've heard those words at every game I've ever been to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they said anything, as for right now that we know. It's not like they said anything racist as of right now.
There's a certain line that you don't cross, and I think we all know where that line is now. And we didn't hear anybody complaining of that, so I don't know what the big deal is. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, do I like Boston fans? Except for Sox and a few other people. No, I mean, listen, it's a New York Boston rivalry, but I don't get the excuse making. I really don't. I don't know specifically what they said, but I know they were complaining about the fans. And then Draymond Green, that he's a big talker.
Draymond Green is a notorious bitch-made cat, and he can't get over the Celtics fans jawing at him, but he wants to lay on the ground and hold his legs on top of Jaylen Brown's head. You do that kind of shit, you're gonna get it back from the fans, especially in the NBA Finals. We're not messing around here.
He'd be a valuable guest to get on this podcast.
Yeah.
He's got his own. So
yeah, he does have his own podcast. No, I can't stand the guy, and I would tell it to him. I would say it to him.
That would. He's a handful. He is a handful. Shouts to Tony, Grega, and Jets
Now
mess
here's the
met.
thing: he thinks that he's making a difference. He's not even making a difference. I think he has a total of 14 points in the series. Like if you're gonna go out there and score 30 a game, yeah, you can do that. Draymond Green he makes a defensive difference, but that's it. I mean, he's there for emotional support. The guy's past his prime.
He also said he's the best defensive player of all time.
Right. Makes sense.
And he also ripped on the 80s and 90s players because they weren't tough enough for some shit like that a few days ago. But he got some
Dude, Draymond pulls that shit in the 80s, he would get knocked the fuck out. He would be on the floor the first time he starts clapping after a foul call. He would be knocked the fuck out.
Not to mention he's fouled out twice in the finals.
God, this guy, don't even get me started on this guy.
Yeah, there's another game tomorrow, which we may or may not stream, so we'll keep you guys updated.
The fans are going to be wild. They think complaining about it is going to shut the fans up. They're going to be even worse on Friday.
It's going to be. I don't think they're going to do anything about it, which will propel the fans to just outright, go out and do what they did, just like 3 times that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get a MLB All-Star ballot if the MLB actually wants to cooperate with me right now. I'm gonna get it, and we're gonna do a joint ballot because obviously the ballot came out yesterday. For some reason, pitchers aren't on there.
Interesting.
So is it like phase 2 or something? I'm just shocked.
I'm pretty sure voting just opened up, so I don't know why it would be on phase 2 already.
I'm gonna try pulling it up on a different tab because I don't know why it's not cooperating with me. They're not Hall of Fame. Ballot All-Star Game.
If you find it, send me the link real quick.
Sure. Okay, so I have it. Let's see. I'm gonna put it in private chat, but we can do a joint one. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get started, guys. Feel free to put who you would vote for in the chat. I know, obviously, yesterday when we did Twin Bill, everybody put their thoughts in. So let's get right into it. Let's see right here so far. Okay. Let's put it up. Here we are. All-Star ballot. So this is the first baseman. That's who they go first. Then it's the second base, third base, shortstop, center field, 3 outfielders each, and then a designated hitter from each league. Of course, you guys can vote up for 5 times a day. I don't do that because I'm not dedicated to it like that. But everybody's free to do what they want. With that being said, the first baseman, the ones that stick out to me, Ji-Man Choi, Luis Arias. That's not who I wanted, so I don't know why. I don't know why it's got the no. We're not voting for him yet. Jose Abreu, Ty France is also having a good year. A lot of people voted for him. Nathaniel Lowe's all right. I'm not going to be biased and take Anthony Rizzo. Jared Walsh is also decent. You look at the National League. We'll do league by league. But guys that stick out for me, Pete Alonso's one. I don't think Freddie Freeman's an all-star. I don't think he's played to that level. Paul Goldschmidt is another consideration on that list. Eric Hosmer is hitting for a high average, just not the power, so I don't think he's an all-star candidate. But who do you think we're going with in the American League?
You know, there's a lot of good first basemen. You mentioned Ji-Man Choi. He's got a good average, not necessarily the power. We do know he has that power. Jose Abreu sticking out with 23 RBIs. I think if I had to choose one player per league, which it says, I would go with Vlad. 13 homers, 31 RBIs. We've seen him. I mean, the average isn't bad. 243. I mean, we see Ty France with 327 average, 38 RBIs, but Vlad's hit 13 home runs already. That's going to grow before the All-Star game. I would take Vlad Guerrero. I like to represent the AL East guys as well.
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask. I think I'm going to go with Cookus's tiebreaker here because I'm for Ty France, and he picked Ty France, but here's the ballot he voted for. He voted for Ty France at first, Jose Altuve at second base, Jose Ramirez at third, Tim Anderson at shortstop, Judge, Trout, and Tucker in the outfield, Salvador Perez as the catcher and Yordan Alvarez the DH. So looks like we have an overwhelming, I would say, tiebreaker for Ty France. But of course, Sox's objections are duly noted, and he has the right to vote on his own ballot, of course. So we will take Ty France with the American League vote. National League, this one is interesting. For me, it's down to Paul Goldschmidt and Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, you see Christian Walker having a pretty damn good season for Arizona, given his situation down there. I just got to mention him as a Diamondbacks fan. Not going to be biased there. Josh Bell hitting 300. The power's not really there. I think it's a good point that you said Freddie Freeman's not necessarily playing to all-star caliber. I would take Paul Goldschmidt. He's my vote in the National League.
All right, so we'll go Goldschmidt here. Now we got second base. Jose Altuve, Santiago Espinal. Andres Jimenez is hitting well. Other than that, not really a good selection here. Obviously, I know you would probably go for, if you were doing a very biased one, you'd probably go for Trevor Story, but
yeah,
you might still.
I mean, on my personal one, I voted for him, but we won't do that here.
Yeah. For me, it's down to Espinal and Jose Altuve, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's tough in the American League. Looking at the names here, what are your thoughts on Gleyber Torres being on the list?
I don't think he's been that consistent yet, so I can't say he's an all-star.
Okay. I mean, he's got one of the best averages of all those guys. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would go with Jose Altuve here.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. All right. So for the National League, there's a couple of guys here. Ozzie Albies, Jazz Chisholm. It's another one. Then other than that, I mean,
I'm going with Jazz. I like Jazz Chisholm because of not only the numbers, he had a good start to the year, but I love his electricity, man. Like he's an all-star in my opinion, 100%.
So, referencing some comments in the chat, Jets Mess says Alonso. Obviously, I think we went Goldschmidt there. Jets Mess also said Jose Altuve, which we went. Tony says Story only had 2 good weeks. No way he's an all-star. Greg has said Altuve. For the National League, Cook has picked Goldschmidt at first, Jazz Chisholm with second, Manny Machado at third, Trey Turner at short. 3 outfielders being Jock, Acuna, and Betts. Catcher being Contreras, and DH being Harper. You know what? I'm gonna follow the bandwagon. I'm gonna go with Jazz Chisholm Jr.
I mean, he just like not expecting much from Miami, and not knowing much about them. Seeing him start off the season stealing bags, hitting homers, like making plays in the field. Why not? That's my vote for sure.
All right, so now we got third base, and I'm gonna come out on a limb here and say that. Of course, I tip my camera in the process. Rafael Devers should be our vote. I know you would 100% agree. I think he's, from what you're telling me, from what you've been illustrating, he's had a wonderful year, 342 batting average. A close second probably would be J-Ram, but I'm going Rafael Devers here.
Yeah, I mean, Devers is by far the all-star here. I want to look up his stats real quick and see how many hits. He had an astounding amount of hits on the season when I saw it.
So Tony says Machado and Devers.
Devers has 80 hits this year.
Wow.
And it's not even we're coming up on the All-Star break. You double that, I mean that's 160 hits.
Pretty insane. Yeah, I respect Devers, even though he has a tendency to destroy the Yankees and he's a Red Sox. I'm going to give my vote to Devers here.
I mean, I think he's a class act too. I respect the hell out of him.
Third base. I know some people have went a couple other ways. For me, I think Manny Machado gets the cake here. He's had a really good year. 29 batting average, 9 home runs, 36 ribbies.
I'm a San Diego guy now, so I gotta go with him. Even though he ended fucking Dustin Pedroia's career, and I hated him for the longest time. You know what? He's not.
You
He's
probably
off.
still hate him.
I know. I do. I mean, I do. I hated him in Baltimore. I hated him when he was with the Dodgers. I love seeing Chris Sale strike him out to win a World Series. It's just in my mind forever as one of my favorite moments. But you know what? He's having a hell of a year. I mean, there's no way he's not an all-star.
Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I want to ask you this before we get going, or I should say before we move on. Did you hear about what the Angels tried doing to try to stop their losing streak?
Tell me it's the Nickelback walk-up songs. Dude, that's hilarious. I'm going tonight, so hopefully they don't do that tonight. But
I think they know better.
They're worse. They're that bad that they're hoping Nickelback will turn their losing.
Phil Nevin is also their manager now.
I mean, I just don't understand. You gotta put the fans through what they're seeing on the field, and then let alone anybody who buys a ticket to the game has to hear Nickelback for 3 times 9 straight innings.
Fucking weird. So shortstop Tim Anderson is, even though I don't like him, he's out there. Xander Bogaerts, I would also put potentially. I don't think Correa is having an all-star year. JP Crawford's stats aren't that bad for Seattle, who's doing terrible. An underrated one, which I didn't even think about, we were doing the ballot voting yesterday. Jeremy Pena, the new shortstop for the Houston Astros. So, this one's a little more tricky. For me, it's down to Bogaerts, Crawford, Anderson, and Jeremy Pena.
For me, it's between Xander and Tim Anderson. I watch Xander almost every day, so I mean I really do feel like he's probably the best defensive shortstop on this list. I really do.
All right. I have to make up my own mind here because it's, again, picking somebody I hate, but they're a good player, and then somebody I also hate less, but more good player. Chat, feel free to put your comments in, see which shortstop you vote for in the American League.
I mean, he's got 26 RBIs.
356. I'm gonna look up a little bit more in the advanced stats to see who's got what.
Yeah, let's check it out because it'd be interesting to see who's having a better year between Bogaerts and Tim Anderson because those numbers.
Tim Anderson, 58 hits and 163 ABs. So let me look up Bogaerts so we can even out the stats. Let's see, MLB right over here. Okay, so Bogaerts has 67 hits in 210 ABs. So he actually has more hits and more at-bats. Nonetheless, Tim Anderson does have the higher batting average. As of late, it seems like Tim Anderson is hitting better. In the last 7 games, he's hitting 407. 4 RBIs, 1 home run.
That's tough. That's really tough.
Do I really have to vote for this guy? 6 walks only this year, which is weird. I thought he'd be a guy that maybe draws more walks. Xander has more walks. And I'm not really a guy that overrates that stat. I know a lot of people overrate that stat all the time.
I think the walks is kind of important, but like you said, I think it's overanalyzed. But one thing to note with Bogaerts, and guys say it all the time, guys inside and outside of the Red Sox, he's with the best 2-strike hitter in baseball. No guy has ever gone from 0-2 to 3-2 better than Xander Bogaerts.
You want his OBP 386 compared to 393 for Tim Anderson. His slugging is 503 compared to Bogaerts is 476. And then 862 OPS for Xander compared to 896 for Tim Anderson. So if you're a guy that's into more than batting average, RBIs, hits, home runs, if you're a guy that's into the slugging and OBP, Tim Anderson definitely takes the cake. I'm leaning towards Anderson, unfortunately.
I'm And I wouldn't mind that at all. I think they're probably having very close years. I mean, we can vote for Anderson on this one for sure. We already got a Red Sox player in the.
Of course. All right, so shortstop in the National League. DD's hitting 304, no home runs, so that's a no from me. Pretty unappetizing, if I want to say so. Trey Turner, though, he's one that sticks out to me, and also Francisco Lindor. Obviously, last year he didn't really get a feel for things in New York. Tommy Edman is also one that comes on the list. I'm going to lean towards Trey Turner here. Francisco Lindor has the same amount of ribbies. He's got more home runs, but you look at Trey Turner, he's got better OPS, he's got better batting average, and
It's Trey Turner. He's got 45 RBIs. That is ridiculous.
Trey Turner. All right, so catcher. See how we can. Here, I already said it because of the impact he's had on our rotation. I'm voting Trevino. Now, obviously, I can go against that. And, if you want to vote for somebody or the chat wants to override me with that, that's okay too. Alejandro Kirk is having a good season, 322, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, 878 OPS. Jonah Heim's not having a bad season, 262, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs. Tom Murphy, he's hitting okay, 303, 1 home run, 1 RBI. That's not much production right there. I know some will vote for Gary Sanchez, Christian Vasquez. Is he more for contact or power? Because he's hitting 2 home runs, 23 RBIs.
This year, it's more of a contact swing for sure. We've seen him try to kill the baseball more in previous years. 2 years ago, he's our best hitter. We mentioned it, but I don't think he's an all-star this year. He makes a hell of a difference to our baseball club. But it's interesting that you put Trevino in there because it's noticeable what he does for the team. I wouldn't mind putting him in the all-star game, but is he a starting catcher in an all-star game? Is he that caliber?
Yeah. I gotta stick with Trevino here. I just think he's had the best season of his career. He's really shaped up this pitching staff, and for proper fans, he's kind of shifted the thoughts of Gary Sanchez away.
Do you think Gary Sanchez will get voted in? Because I do.
Certain people, of course.
I think he'll be the
they look at his RBIs and they're like goo goo gaga, he's having a decent year for what he is. I don't think he's an all-star candidate, though. I don't think he should be. My vote stays with Jose Trevino. I think he's having an unbelievable season. And the fact that, it's one thing if it's a defense, and a lot of defensive catchers don't get in because that's not on the stat sheet. But Jose Trevino, he's been good offensively. As of late, he has. So
vote it. Let's do it.
Jose Trevino for the American League.
You got a Yankee in there. Wow. I wasn't sure about that. I mean, the outfield, we know Judge is going, but
oh yeah. That's taking a cake right there.
Yeah.
In terms of the National League, some guys that stick out.
Contreras sticks out for me.
Definitely. Wilson Contreras sticks out. Tyler Stevenson for the Reds is also having a pretty good year. 5 home runs, 31 RBIs, 305. But I still think that Wilson Contreras takes the cake.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be cool to get a Reds catcher in there with the year that they're having. It's cool that he's having a good year.
Absolutely agree with that. So now we are on to the outfield. We already know Aaron Judge is going to be there, so I might as well mark him down. Now we got 2 more. Do you think Mike Trout is deserving? I know he's on this he was or is on this the huge streak of just being terrible.
He broke it. He broke it the other night against the Sox with a 2-run homer. He was 0 for 26. I don't think that's all-star caliber.
Really? Okay. Julio Rodriguez, do you think he's all-star caliber?
That's tough. Not watching them play as much. I think there's got to be guys that are in there above him.
One I think we can agree on, not Yankees. Taylor Ward, 10 home runs, 26
Yes,
RBIs, 1.087 OPS, and a 333 batting average.
absolutely. That dude has turned it on this year, and I've seen quite a few games for them, and they like him a lot too.
Jets Mess says 100% Aaron Hicks. Yeah, I agree. I think Aaron Hicks has played to an all-star caliber level. Let me stop. So now we gotta come down to one. So we're gonna start at the top, work our way down.
We'll say yes or no for each guy.
Yes. Randy SoxArizona.
Considered.
Considerable. Andrew Benintendi.
No.
See, the stats don't prime me other than the batting average, but the fact that he's such a hot topic at the trade deadline, I mean, is it also because people, different teams need outfielders, or is it because he's that good of a player?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what puts me in the middle there. Michael Brantley, 286, 3 home runs, 17 ribbies.
I like how you just hate Jackie Bradley skipping over him there.
I don't think
but no. I think that's considerable for sure. The power's not there that we know.
That's the problem I have with Brantley. He's always been that power guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say no on Michael Brantley. Then again, who the hell cares? Joey Gallo, absolutely no. Fuck out of here.
No, that guy's
Cole Calhoun, no. Willie Castro, no. Adolis Garcia, no.
Buxton? You think Buxton might? I mean, he had a good year last year.
I don't think so. I know a lot of people were on that train. Should be once.
I mean, the guy hits for obviously contact, but we saw him.
He's changing his approach, and now he's all of a sudden a fucking power hitter.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because he started off last year hitting bombs. It was unbelievable what he was doing with the baseball, like flying almost out of Twin Stadium, and we haven't seen that as much this year. But 13 homers, that's quite a few.
So he's hitting 224. Last year he hit 306 in a total of 61 games, which this guy doesn't stay on the field for shit.
Yeah.
I think we know that at this point in the career. Yeah. I'm just not buying the hype. I don't know why. I'm just not buying the hype of Byron Buxton.
Probably because he's not on the field.
Yeah. Take a look. Lourdes Gurriel. Nah. Mitch Haniger, nah. Austin Hayes is considerable.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm keeping him in the back of my head.
Kike's having a quiet year.
Teoscar Hernandez, nah. Kyle Isbell, nah. Eloy, nah. Max Kepler, nah. Kiermaier, nah. There's reports of him actually getting traded at the deadline. Stephen Kwan, he had a really good start, but other than that, nah, he's been doo-doo. Trevor Larnach, nah. Ramon Laureano, he's turned it around, but not all-star.
No.
Manuel Margot, not. I know he had a huge hitting streak. That's like something to put in the back of your head, but I don't think it's going to be the final vote. So we'll keep him there. Brandon Marsh, nah. Chaz McCormick, nah. Austin Meadows, no. Josh Naylor, maybe. Cedric Mullins not really having the year he usually has. Christian Pache and Chad Pinder. Oh.
I like Josh Naylor. I really do. He had some clutch hits this year too.
He had a home run when I was at the game, the infamous game. And that home run actually landed about 4 seats to my right. So
that's close. I've never had a ball that close to me before.
Yep. Let's see. Luis Robert, nah. Julio Rodriguez, keeping the back of your head, maybe. Santander, nah. Springer, maybe. I'll even say that Stanton hasn't had an all-star year. Like, he's not as recognizable. A lot of tough list here. Tough list. Some are good, some are bad. Naylor's one, Margot's one. To keep in the back of your head, Austin Hayes, the team he plays for. So I think it's down to Naylor, Hayes, and Naylor, Hayes, and I mentioned somebody else. I think it was Rodriguez. Try to scroll up, see if I missed anything. So it's down to Naylor, Hayes, Margot, and maybe Julio Rodriguez. Who are you thinking?
My vote's Hayes with the team that they have. That's some good numbers.
All right. Just give me 1 second.
It was cool to see. I sat really close to Brandon Marsh out there in left field the other day, and
Really?
it was impressive to see what he could do. I think he had a couple hits as well, 4 homers on the season, 246. He's not all-star caliber, but it's cool to see them have a good left fielder.
So your final vote for is, remind me?
I'm going with Hayes.
I'll go with Hayes too. I'll go with Hayes as well. If I could find him. Get an Oriole next to him. All right. National League. This one's going to be interesting as well. Acuna, I think, is the definite.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much power, but I think he's had, a good year. I am voting for Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
So I think that's another obvious one. You know what's weird? First of all, I don't know why Chris Bryant is considered an outfielder. A, B, how has he not hit any home runs?
Interesting. Yeah. Not sure why he's listed right there.
I could definitely see Mark Canha as an alternate. I think he's had a really quiet, good season. Ian
Castellanos
Happ,
has had a quiet season.
yep. Yadiel, no, not Hernandez. Ian Happ's had a quiet season. Man. Starling Marte is of the consideration, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Coming over from what? Arizona, right?
Pittsburgh. No, not Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh to AZ and then the Mets.
Miami. That's who he came from.
Okay, yep.
So and also wanted to consider we have one more vote. Marte. Jock Peterson's had a really good season as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of these guys, not much to look at. I always like Mike Yastrzemski. Like his father obviously was a big Red Sox player, but he's just a likable guy.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite players that's not on my team.
We have 2, right?
We have one more vote. Down to Jock Peterson and Starling Marte. So if you want power, it's down to Peterson. If you want a leadoff hitter, who could possibly, now to take a look at this, now you have Trey Turner who could do that, maybe Jazz Chisholm. But Starling Marte could lead off the All-Star game for the National League.
With the lineup that we already have, I'm going with Jock.
Okay. So that is officially our All-Star ballot. Oh, no, we have DH. You know what's sad, though? It's really sad for me is like Max Muncy was one of my favorite players not on the Yankees, and he just took such a fucking downturn.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough. The big thing I remember with Max Muncy is him hitting a walk-off home run in the 16th inning of Game 4 of the World Series.
I remember that too. I think I was watching at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
You were, huh? Even out there on the East Coast?
Yeah.
That was late. That was late.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I remember seeing that. I remember watching that, but I don't remember what day it was. So maybe I was staying up late for school. That was what, 2018?
2018. It was before the Ghost Runner. So I mean, that game took a long time.
2018. Yeah, I'll look at it. Maybe I was staying up past my bedtime. I think Don Alvarez takes the cake for DH. 17 home runs, 1.025 OPS, and a 299 batting average.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody comes close to him. And yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Shohei Ohtani will get voted in as the All-Star game?
Do I think he'll get voted in? Yes.
Should he?
Do I think he deserves it? No. Trust me, though, he's one of the most exciting players. I am in on the hype on him. I don't know how you feel overall about Shohei, because some guys are saying he's the next Babe Ruth, all this stuff, but I really do believe it. I've never seen in my life some guy that has that talent from both sides of the baseball.
Now, I do believe there is a talent there. Yeah, I do believe there's a talent there, and my friend hates him. He fucking hates him, and I think honestly, this has, and of course, I knocked my camera down in the process.
We got your voice. That's all that matters.
Yes, but with okay, so now we have it hooked on like this. I think it actually is stable. You know what? I think secretly though, why my friend hates Shohei Ohtani and the hype he gets? Why do you think that is?
What is he? I don't know. What is it? Tell me.
He didn't come to New York in 2018. I think secretly that is what that is why he hates him.
See, my guess was going to be how he's performed against the Yankees, but I don't know what he's done in previous games, like even if they played
He's played like shit.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I believe there's talent there. But once again, I think a lot of people just overhype the shit out of him. Because he can do like two different things.
I agree to a certain extent, but if it was that easy, not saying that you said it's easy, but if it was easy, a lot of people would be doing what he's doing, and the fact that nobody else can, it's got to be put up there somewhere.
Yeah. DH in the National League. Now, I've gotten some other votes besides the person that I'm probably leaning towards. Garrett Cooper. He's had a good year. A former Yankee also as well. William Contreras is one. I'm purposely skipping over the guy that's going to take the cake most likely. Bryce Harper. I think it's a done deal. Bryce Harper.
I think so too. I'm trying to think who might sneak in there. Yeah, Garrett Cooper's had a good year, but you can't have two.
Contreras as well. But I haven't heard much. And I have something to bring up after this, but it's going to take like a minute, and it's something about the Braves.
No, Bryce Harper takes the cake for sure.
All right, so reviewing the ballot. For the American League, Ty France and Paul Goldschmidt take the cake at first. At second base, Jose Altuve and Jazz Chisholm Jr. At the hot corner, it's Rafael Devers and Manny Machado. Shortstop is Tim Anderson and Trey Turner. Catchers, Jose Trevino and Wilson Contreras. In the outfield, it's Austin Hayes, Aaron Judge, and Taylor Ward. In the National League, it's Ronald Acuna, Mookie Betts, and Jock Peterson. And the DH spot, it is Yordan Alvarez, who just got paid a big fat contract, and Bryce Harper. So that officially is the All-Star ballot. You know what's funny and it's weird? I said this last night. It seems like baseball is getting back to normal. Here's why I say that. I say that because I look at the standings. The Red Sox are over 500. So they're somewhat back in. Right. And they're 3.5 out of that wild card spot in the American League. Which honestly, I don't think anyone else is competing for. And you know what? It's sad too, in a way. Because you take a look. The most competitive division in the American League is the AL East. And 4 out of those 5 teams are over 500. You take a look at the Central, you take a look at the West. Twins, Astros. Other than that, in terms of those two divisions, which is 8 teams, other than the first 2, I mean, that's under 500 cake right there.
Yeah.
But when I say baseball is back to normal, the Angels are just going under. I mean, we all know that. The Guardians are at 500. The White Sox are under 500. Take a look at the National League. The Braves are over 500, which I'm really, really excited to see. Not anything I hate the Mets, but I'm just saying, the Braves are ever since last year when I rooted for them in the World Series, they have a spot in my heart. For some reason, the Pirates are still doing better than the Cubs and the Reds, which is weird. So who knows? The Brewers and Cardinals are 500. Diamondbacks back under 500, and same thing with the Rockies. West remains a very competitive division. And then you got the Brewers and the Cardinals, and then you got the Braves and the Mets. So the National League is a little bit more competitive than the American League. Yeah. So you have any thoughts on that?
It's interesting because it just seems like there's a bunch of talent over there. It's the Dodgers, the Padres. That it's interesting because the Central and East always been kind of one team at the top. The Mets have been good-ish. The Braves have been good. You never know really. But last year the AL East was incredible. Last year Toronto won 91 games and was in 4th place. Like I expect this division to be similar. The rest of the AL Central, I think you made a good point that it's evening out. I didn't expect the Angels to be up there, with how they performed last year with 2 of the best players in the world. Supposedly, and apparently some of your friends don't think so. But you got a couple of the best players in the world. I expect you to be up there in 2nd place. I think they've done a better job than people think.
Yeah.
Like they've lost 14 games in a row and they're in 2nd place. That's insane to me.
It's a weird one. And it's because of how bad that division is. And they're 1 game better than the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
But they're still 9.5. Both of them, both 9.5 because they have a similar winning percentage, both 9.5 out from the Astros. And then the Mariners are bad. And the A's are bad. Obviously, that's. I never asked you this. Shouts to Jeffrey, by the way. What's going on, Jeffrey? You see what happened in the fucking A's game the other day?
What happened?
You didn't see the national anthem?
No. Can we play a clip?
You didn't hear about that?
No, I don't think I did. What happened?
I'm gonna look it up, and we're gonna listen to it.
No,
you are. I don't know what your reaction is gonna be. Let's see. Oh,
this has got to be bad if we're bringing it up right now.
No, it is insatiable.
This has got to be bad. Is it the Oakland A's game?
Yep.
It makes sense they would do this in that fucking dump.
It's I don't know how nobody has a video of it. I think I could probably maybe look up different words on Twitter.
Here, I'll try to help too.
Got it. Okay. All right, brace yourself for this, Sox. You may probably not like what you see, but this is what happened at the Oakland A's game the other day.
Don't tell me it was the Sox game.
No.
All right, Caroline. Take it away.
Oh, no. Are you fucking kidding me?
They can't even get a real musician in there.
You gotta be kidding me. My dog doesn't like it. Wow.
And that's a violin bow, if I'm correct about that. I'm surprised you didn't hear about this.
To be honest, it sounds really good.
For a fucking saw, it sounds outstanding.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I have something to say after this.
Yeah, I feel like we should let it finish at least. Wow, look at that. Let's go.
For the 2,000 people that are there.
Dude, yeah, nobody's there. Wow, what a dump that place is, for real. They couldn't. There's no musicians in the area that night.
Oh, they just didn't want to play. A saw.
Oh my God! Wow.
Let me
Well,
ask
I
you.
guess baseball's not coming back to normal.
No, now that I think about it, probably not. You ever see Grown Ups?
Yes. I don't think I don't remember the second one as good, but I remember the first
one.
Yeah.
You remember that scene where Rob is singing Ave Maria at the coach's funeral, and everybody's trying not to laugh, but they do anyway?
That's how I felt.
Probably everybody in that stadium that day.
Oh wow! I never thought I would see that. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. That lady played that shit with a violin bow on a saw.
That is it's very interesting to say.
No, trust me. Like I love the creativeness.
Creativity, yes.
As a creativity, yes. As a music fan, like as a diehard music fan, that's really cool. But just especially at a place like Oakland where there's nobody in the stands, just the test that doesn't make any sense.
Little League games get more attention.
That got more attention than the game for sure, 100%.
It was better than the Roseanne edition. I think it was Jets Mess that said it the other day, or somebody said it in the chat. Better than when Fergie sang at the All-Star game.
Oh my God! I almost thought I forgot about that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, now you remember, right?
That's terrible. Wow.
Oh, man. So, obviously, we filled out our all-star ballots, and then we also took a trip to Oakland and, obviously heard some Saw.
It sounded good. It sounded really good.
There's a lot of corny jokes could be made with that. There's, it's too bad no one saw it.
No one was in the crowd. That's hilarious. No one saw it.
I mean, that's just... Let me ask you this. Obviously, we saw the firings of Joe Girardi and Joe Maddon. How much do you think is on the general managers, and do you think like they will retire? I think Maddon's going to retire because I think he's like close to 70, if I'm not mistaken. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know he was that old. But I posted it on one of my social medias. I saw Maddon's last career game, which was kind of cool. That 1-0 win. Michael Wacha pitched a shutout. That was Maddon's last career game if he does retire. I didn't know he was that old, so yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if another club wants supposedly the genius Joe Maddon. I don't think he is the manager of another team, to answer your second question. And to go back to your first question, to be honest with you, baseball is such an interesting game that I don't think there's a lot on the managers when stuff like this happens. Like I really don't. At the end of the day, the baseball players are on the field, and it's a game of failures. Like the best players ever hit 330. The best players ever hit 300. That's 30% of the time. And it's a simple game when you think about it that way. So you got to go make plays. And when you're losing 14 in a row, what is a manager going to do to change what those guys are doing? Seriously.
Yeah, and also it's coaching staff, and I'll talk about Girardi in a second, but Maddon is actually 68 years old. From West Hazelton, Pennsylvania, which was probably about 40 minutes from where I used to live. But as a manager, he actually managed the Angels before, but brief stints, once in 96, once in 99. And then for the Rays between 2006 and 2014, signed up with the Cubs in 15 to 2019, and then obviously took the job with the Angels in 2020, and obviously got fired this past year. He was in the first tenure he had as a manager. He was a coach for the Angels. So between 94 and 2005. So I think he's just going to retire. Maybe he takes a position at like a network as like a color commentator, an analyst, something like that. As for Joe Girardi, I'm not going to say he's totally blameless because obviously, I like Joe. I always have. When I got into baseball, he was the Yankees manager and stuff like that. But you got to look at some of the guys that Dave Dombrowski's built some really good teams, and he's also built some really shit teams. Like usually, Sox. He was the the GM for you guys for a little bit.
I mean, yeah, we saw some ups and downs, coming out of 2013, the success there with the great bullpen and all that stuff. But the Red Sox were bad. We missed the playoffs there for I think 3 out of 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, and Dombrowski was there that whole time. So that's part of the bad teams,
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Look at the bullpen. Nick Nelson, Brad Hand, who hasn't been himself in like 3 different years.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Nabel, who was a little shaky. I mean, I don't think he's having a good year this year. Iris Familia, like that's your bullpen right there. It's just not a lot of talent. Obviously they focused a lot on. I don't know how their hitting is. I could probably take a look right now, but it seems like they focused a lot on the outfield because they have 3 new outfielders. Well, actually, no, 2 new outfielders and 1 already mainstay. You have Castellanos, you have Harper, you have Schwarber. Some of those guys can play DH. I'm gonna take a look at some of their best hitters and some of their worst hitters right now. Obviously, they won the first game that was after the firing of Joe Girardi. So if you want in terms of batting average, Harper's probably one of the best. Gene Segura is good as well. Didi, too. Oh, the allergies attacking me today. Kyle Schwarber's hitting a lazy 209. I mean, that's not very good.
He had such a good year for us last year too. I'm glad we got the hot Kyle Schwarber, and then sent him on his way.
Bohm's hitting 262, so that's not bad. Romuto 246. Yeah, I mean, that's I'm gonna see where they rank at some of these categories.
The offense, I feel like the offense probably doesn't rank too bad.
I think you're right on that. So in slugging, they're 4th. In batting average, they're 9th. Runs, they're tied for 6th, and on base, they're 315.
Top 10 offense.
Right. Pitching. Quality starts, tied for 2nd, which is a surprise. Earned run average, they are 16th. So I guess this is all league-wide shit. 15th in whip, batting average against, they are 16th. So it seems to me that they are a middle-of-the-pack pitching staff that has a potential to break on occasion. I'm going to answer my own question, and I'll give it to you afterwards, of course. Do I think that Joe Girardi is going to manage another team? I don't think so. He could. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't think so. I think he's going to do an analyst job. I think he'll do something else. Like maybe I would like him in the Yes broadcast booth because God knows we need that. Mabin's not very good. Carlos Beltran's not very good, so I would welcome him in the broadcast booth. But I don't think he's going to get on the job, and it's a damn shame. It is because once again, I always liked Joe Girardi. And, I wouldn't agree with him on certain things, but man, it's people going to shit on the back end of his career because all the bullshit he's been through with the Phillies. Like the first year was terrible. The second year, terrible. This year was supposed to be another good year for the Phillies, or at least, the pitching, right? Terrible. So if he attempts to go in the Hall of Fame, I just don't want this to ruin it. But do you think he's going to get another job, and do you think this is like 100% his fault?
I don't think it's 100% his fault. Again, you're probably right in the fact that he has a little bit to do with it. But from what I've seen, like when teams go on skids, the manager is out of control, man. The players have to turn it around. There's nothing the manager can do to physically change what's happening on the field. It's as simple as that. But to the point of Girardi, I do think he's a Hall of Famer. Being a little young as well, he was the Yankees manager when I got into baseball, and I see him as one of those managers up there. I don't know why people shit on him as much as they do. I really don't. But I see him up there as one of the best managers of all time. I thought the Yankees should bring him back. I mean, he's way up above Boone in my opinion. They should bring him back in my opinion. But there's three options for Girardi. He goes into a television career, which that branches off into either the Yes Network or a major network. Who knows?
And he's done that before. He went, after he got the either before or after, which could have definitely been either or. He had a job in the Yes booth, and then after his stint with the Yankees, he was with MLB Network for like 2 years.
Yeah, I remember that. So he knows he probably has a job already if he wanted it in either of those. So he goes and takes money from Yes or MLB Network, maybe even Turner, or who knows if he wants to go to ESPN, whatever it is. I doubt it. But then there's the option if you can go back and manage a ball club. And to be honest with you, if he has to go and do this mess hole again with rebuilding some team, I don't think he's going to do it.
If he's going to go into a job back into the major leagues again, it has to be with a winning team that's ready to win. It can't be
100%.
with, it can't be with the Tigers with AJ Hinch, where it's going to take another year and they're going to be about middle and they're going to compete, the next year or whatever. Can't be like the Pirates. Can't be with, the Phillies. He won Manager of the Year and it was also booted out in 2006. I don't think many people know that. I don't know too much about the story, but I know he had very much friction with the front office at the time. And probably also one of the reasons the Yankees didn't bring him back is because he had friction with the front office. But I don't think he's going to get – the thing is, with some of these winning teams, I don't think he's going to get a lot of control that he wants. We've seen that. Now, obviously – different story with the Phillies. I don't think he had a lot of control. Then again, I could be definitely wrong. Seems like Dombrowski and the whole GM and the whole front office kind of screwed it over for him. And listen, Girardi made his own mistakes. But if you go to a team like, let's just say, for example, Kevin Cash for some reason is fired, right? For some reason, Oliver Marmol, I can't even say it correctly. Oliver Marmol is gone. Let's say Craig Counsell is gone from the Brewers. In a situation where a winning team is ready, and that opens up. The problem is for Girardi is how analytically dependent are they? And I don't think that unfortunately, I don't think that's what he is as a manager. He doesn't want to be dependent on the analytics, but unfortunately, that's the way baseball is going.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have that battle with multiple ball clubs as managers get older. Like who is it? Jim Leland. Jim Leland used to go into the dugout and smoke cigarettes, and then the MLB didn't let him, so he would have a little bucket in the dugout in the alley. So between innings, he would run down there and smoke cigs in the hallway between innings. I mean, it's just like old school stuff, It's the same thing, but it's the same. It's similar with Girardi because he's old. Like, how old is he? You said
Girardi. I want to say. Let's see. I want to say he's 58.
I mean, so there's managers that are going into their 70s, blah blah blah. But he has a bunch of old school traditions. You can tell because this new wave of baseball hasn't come until the last couple of years with the home run hitting, the substance, all this stuff, these controversies, the cheating. All this is new within the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, and let me say this as well. What was I going to say? Do you feel that he could be, because this maybe also, the Yankees tried doing this last year with Buck Showalter, bringing him in as a possible bench coach and trying to veteran up their staff. Do you think he could be a bench coach for an analytics team, even though he won't have like the most control? Or do you think he's just going to say, look, I want a managerial job. If you're not giving it back to me, I'm going to go back to the booth?
To be honest with you, I don't see him. I see him just going to the booth if they don't give him a manager spot.
I see what you're talking about, and I do agree with you on that note. With that being said, new segment here, and obviously the trade deadline is not for another few weeks, but I did want to go back and revisit it a little bit. Revisit last year's trade deadline, obviously. Yankees made some moves, Red Sox made some moves, and I want to ask Sox about a couple of moves, how he would grade them, and would he take them as, oh, it was just a 1-year thing, or listen, not keeping him probably hurt us and, whatever. So the first trade is probably one of the more, I would say, popular trades. Kyle Schwarber to the Red Sox for Aldo Ramirez. Thoughts on that?
I mean, it was a kind of a bigger contract that we got from Kyle Schwarber, but he played so well late in the season. We were on a damn deep playoff run last year, and then got rid of him, and now he's playing cold baseball. What else can you? I'm not exactly sure the numbers on the guy that we got rid of. I really don't know, but we're gonna have to check it out. We won that trade though.
Was Aldo Ramirez a prospect?
I believe he was. I don't know too much about it. I'm not going to sit here and say I do. Checking it out.
Kyle Schwarber hit 291 with the Red Sox, not including the playoffs, 39 strikeouts, 33 walks, which is a good ratio. He only hit 7 home runs and 18 RBIs in 41 games, but it's better than he did with Washington. Even in terms of average, he did walk a little bit more with the Red Sox, though, which is interesting. So he had a total of 64 walks last year. Holy shit. I didn't know that.
I mean, again, the duo with him and Xander Bogaerts was awesome, with two of the best 2-strike hitters in baseball. Somehow that dude hits with 2 strikes so well, he will have 10 pitch at bats regularly.
So it seems that Aldo Ramirez was like a rookie prospect. So he's 21 years old. Last season, he hasn't pitched this season. Maybe it's because due to injury or something like that, or maybe he got
getting injured
for the rest of the season. So that's a big bust there for Washington. In 2021, with Washington's minor league team, I just want to make sure that I'm getting the stats right. So with the Nationals, 1-1, 8.22 ERA. 300 batting average, again, 7.2 innings pitched. Total of 3 strikeouts in 4 games. That's not very good.
No, this guy stinks. This guy absolutely fucking stinks. I'm glad that trade went through. We almost won a World Series with Kyle Schwarber. That's top and bottom a W right there.
Yeah, and I know obviously the Red Sox struggled for a little bit in the beginning of the season. But Kyle Schwarber's cold now, and Aldo Ramirez stunk. So
yeah,
I say the Red Sox won that trade. Next trade, Hansel Robles to the Red Sox for Alex Scherf.
And again, prospects being traded for, I believe, 1-year contracts. We had Hansel Robles last year, so we might have either re-signed him or signed him to it was a 2-year contract. I'll have to check it out. But he's pitched well for us. I believe he's one of the stronger arms in our bullpen. He's one of those guys that we can count on to come in and throw strikes and get outs, and that's not something you can say with everybody in our bullpen. So Alex will pull up the stats of what's the guy's name?
Alex Scherf. I have his stats on hand right now. So in 2022, he's 0-1 with a 2.65 ERA, 18 strikeouts, and 17 innings pitched. Right now, he's with the Double-A affiliate, the Wichita Wind Surge. 15 games, 2 saves, and a batting average against a 234. So not bad. He's a reliever. But as far as also Hansel Robles goes, last year with the Sox, 0-1, 3.60 ERA, 25 innings pitched. And then you look at this year in his short little stint before he went to the IL due to back spasms, 1-1, 2.65 ERA, 16 games, 17 innings pitched, and 11 strikeouts. So not bad all around. I mean, obviously they get a prospect. The Twins are still a very young team. With that being said, I don't know how you would grade this. I don't know who would win the trade. I mean, it is a prospect. You just give up he seems to be doing well other than the win-loss record. At the same time, Hansel Robles, I don't know. And you said he pitched well for you guys before the injury and also last year as well.
Yeah. I mean, I would take that as a W because I'm trying to win right now at all times. Some guys don't. I mean, some owners are thinking about, like you said, the Tigers winning next year, 2 years. But what if we need to treat every season like it's our last? So why not bring in a guy that you know is going to give you valuable innings at the big league level?
Chad Snimmer said, looks like Brian Dable's going to the Rangers game tonight. Good.
That's a
Hopefully
W.
win. So here's this. Max Muncy, after hitting a 3-run home run after Tony La Russa intentionally walked Trey Turner with 2 strikes, which is a really weird thing to do. He had a 3-run home run, obviously, after the Trey Turner walk, which Tony La Russa ordered. What was I going to say? Muncy said, "You fucking walk him with 2 strikes. Fuck you, bitch." I don't know. Muncy might turn into one of my favorite players now.
I absolutely love it. So was it an 0-2 count? There's no way.
It says it was 2 strikes.
It was probably a walk. It was probably 3-2 or 2-2. I don't know. I mean,
I just Trey Turner's like an all-star.
Yeah. So and what, he has 45 RBIs. We said so. Why not put him on? What's the big deal? But also, I love Muncy being like, "That's my boy. You're gonna take away a hit from him / RBI / home run. I'm gonna give him his runs scored at least."
Yeah. With that being said, the next trade, Boston Red Sox receive Austin Davis for Michael Chavis. What were your thoughts on Michael Chavis before he got traded?
So I thought he was turning into one of my favorite players. In fact, him and I had a brief conversation on Twitter. I think I still have a conversation, but he was playing really well, and we're like, "Michael Chavis, you're playing like a stud." And he's like, "Thanks, guys," tweeting a bunch of us. A real likable guy. I really like him, and he looks really good in Pittsburgh Pirates black and yellow. But I don't think he's having a great year. But Austin Davis is another guy that's wishy-washy in the bullpen for us. I'm pulling up his numbers right now.
So Michael Chavis this year is hitting .270, 5 home runs, 18 ribbies, 137 ABs, 37 hits. He's hit 200 in the last 7. So he's had a decent year for a Pittsburgh Pirate out of all guys.
He has 37 hits and how many home runs? 14, you said?
5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's a big year.
Yeah, that would be a big jump for a Pirates player.
Yeah.
Also, let's see, Austin Davis, when you guys got him from Pittsburgh, 1-1, 4.86 ERA, 16 2/3 innings pitched, and also 17 strikeouts. And then this year, 1-1, 1.64 ERA, 22 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts. What's your thoughts on? I know you said he's wishy-washy. Has he been pitching recently, or is he injured? What's the story with him?
I believe he's been pitching recently, not as much as he was early on. Like you said, he's only appeared in 22 games, but he's only given up 17. I mean, he's given up 17 hits in 22 appearances, and he comes in the bullpen only usually. You can guarantee on Austin Davis giving up a hit every time he comes in.
Yeah. So his opposing batting average is .215, which isn't bad.
It's not terrible.
Then when he came over last year and performed with the Sox, his batting average was .273. So that's a drop.
It is a good drop. I mean,
Darius Slayton maybe a surprise cut. Ricky Seals-Jones and Matt Gano.
They're gonna cut Darius Slayton.
No, I don't think it's like that. I think possibly if it doesn't go well at the end of the preseason, I think that's what he's talking about. We have a lot of wide receivers, we have a lot of tight ends, we have a lot of tackles, we have a lot of offensive linemen. So I don't think it's going to be like that.
I really hope they don't do that.
You're a fan of Darius Slayton.
I love Darius Slayton, man. I love Darius Slayton.
Wow. Okay. See, the way I see him,
they don't give him the ball. They don't give him the ball.
I don't see, the thing is, I don't like him, But at the same time, if they cut him, what are they getting? $2 million for next year? Doesn't make any sense. MH says Sox on the rise. What's going on, MH? I just forgot. Next week I'm going to a Mets game. I didn't even realize that.
Nice, dude. I can't wait to see Shohei pitch tonight. I hope we smack that. I hope we
I
smack.
go on Flag Day, so I
Yeah.
got to find a way to Yanks just waiting to get smoked. Yeah, again, keep that energy, MH. End of July.
Let's go, MH. What's up?
Yeah, all I know is someone's gonna be chanting in unison. Yankees suck. Obviously, with the
just don't cry about it to the media after the game.
Yeah, no, Sox isn't too happy with the Warriors players. Sox isn't too happy.
Klay Thompson got offended.
Klay Thompson, he had a good night last night compared to the first two, where he took like a 108-minute nap.
Yeah, I mean, he was just missing every shot he took. But I love Klay, man. Don't get me wrong, and I've said this about the Warriors. I've always loved them, fearing low key in the back of my head that we don't play them ever in the finals, and now here we are, up 2-1. We just got to step on the gas for 2 more games.
Yeah. So that reviews that trade. How would you value that? Like, how would you see that trade? Obviously, you guys got Davis. They got Chavis. Who do you think won?
I feel like there's a lot of Austin Davises out there, but I mean, Michael Chavis was just one of my favorite players. He was. So I'm going to take that as an L personally.
Is this because the one time where the Mets fans said he made a comment and then Giancarlo Stanton hit one in the fucking atmosphere? I don't know if you ever seen that video.
What happened? Wait, tell me what happened.
He said something. A Mets fan said something, and then Stanton proceeds to knock one out of Citi Field. And then everybody's chanting, "Get out! Get out! Get out!"
Oh. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, I like that.
I forget what he said.
I wish I kept.
Maybe MH will remind me, but that was funny. I still I have it bookmarked somewhere, but I don't know.
I have a video of somebody chanting "overrated" to Shohei Ohtani, and then him hitting a single into right. It was pretty funny.
He's got great numbers against Dustin DeGrom. Yeah, I mean he was in the National League for a lot of years, so I can't be surprised with that. I was going to say, going back to the Yankees trade deadline, it's going to be an interesting one to go through.
While you grade those trades real quick, I'll be right back.
Of course. So Sox will be right back as we take a look at the Yankees trade deadline from last year. Oh boy. So with that being said, I got to take a look at let me look at the Rangers roster, because that's the first one we'll go over the Joey Gallo trade for you guys that are here. So look at the Rangers roster, because once again, a lot of those guys come from that. I might have to look up the minor leagues as well. But everybody knows that the New York Yankees traded for Joey Gallo last year. Great trade. Yeah. And I just dropped my phone. That's how much of a good trade it was with this cranky-ass seat. Anyway, everybody knows that the New York Yankees traded for Joey Gallo last year. They gave up a shit ton of prospects. Mostly not really top 10 prospects, though. So I'll give them that. But they're all working out, it seems like, in Texas right now, despite them being a really bad baseball team. For example, Ezekiel Duran is hitting .316, even though he's only had 19 at-bats. Joshua Smith is hitting .417. He was in that trade. Take a look at the pitching. Glenn Otto right now is 4-2 with 40.1 innings pitched and an ERA, if I get this correctly, of 4.24, which is not that great, but the win-loss record is good. Ks are good. In terms of walks, 23 walks and 33 Ks. So maybe the control is a little bit more of an issue there. And I think I'm missing one more guy. Also, Trevor Hauver. Trevor Hauver was also in that trade. I'm going to take a look. And in return, the Yankees got back Joey Gallo and Joely Rodriguez. And I wasn't a fan of the trade, and I still am not. Joely Rodriguez, of course, was supposed to be a decent bullpen piece. He was. Listen, he had a 1-3 record and a 5 ERA when he came to the Yankees, and he turned it around, had a 5-3 record end of the year. Then with that being said, he gets traded to the Mets for Miguel Castro, who's been decent. He blows up at times. Kind of got that warning from Mets fans. Trevor Hauver in high A, 7 home runs, 34 RBIs, 229 batting average, 30 hits, and 131 at bats. Obviously, I'm not going to go over Joely Rodriguez stats with the Mets because that's not really necessarily. I wouldn't say it's necessary. Mets won that Texas trade. Well, I mean, how is Joely Rodriguez for you guys, MH? But this trade wasn't a very good one. I didn't get the trade at the time. Getting Joey Gallo, an all or nothing hitter for a team that was struggling at the time, and it was basically all or nothing. I mean, Judge, Stanton were the leaders of that offense. Then nobody else paid contribute. And then giving up a bunch of prospects. And I'm not a prospect holder. I don't hug prospects. I'm not Brian Cashman. I'm not like some of these other cats out here. But it just didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. And yes, he's a better defender, but how did he really impact the Yankees the last 2 years on defense? Was he significantly better? Did he win a Gold Glove? He didn't do any of that. Your thoughts on when the Yankees made the Gallo trade?
I was, I might have been a little, excuse me, I might have been a little bit naive, you might say, but I was a little bit scared as a Red Sox fan when Gallo came over. Maybe it was because of his card in MLB The Show is absolutely unstoppable if you get a hold of a fastball. But no, he's not that dangerous, so I'm happy that worked out.
Exactly. Exact lefty we needed, MH says, kind of inconsistent, but still fills a void from last year. Yeah, you have a couple former Yankees on that staff. You also have, what's his face? Jason Shreve. But overall, I wouldn't give this trade a very good grade. I would say Texas won, if anything. With that being said, we move to the Anthony Rizzo trade. Obviously, Anthony Rizzo came over for 2 prospects, Kevin Alcantara, and one highly touted one in Alexander Vizcaino, who I believe was in the top 15 for the Yankees. Look at his stats. He has not touched the major leagues yet, but he's still in the minors. He is in so he was reassigned, it looks like, but I guess maybe they didn't assign him to a team yet. But in 2021, with the Chicago Cubs minor league system, he was 0-1, 5.27 ERA, total of 6 games, 163 batting average, again with 19 strikeouts. So there's that. Now we move on to Kevin Alcantara, who is an outfielder, much lower in terms of levels than Vizcaino. He's with the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. So in 2022, he's actually doing really good. 6 home runs, 34 RBIs, 266 batting average, 46 hits, and 173 ABs, 6 stolen bases. So yeah, he's actually about a year older than me, which is interesting. But with that being said, he's doing well. Anthony Rizzo, I thought in some cases he was disappointing last year when he came over, but I thought he was much better than Joey Gallo. Rizzo, I'm going to point out his stats from last year. With the Yankees, he hit 249, total of 8 home runs, 21 ribbies, total of 28 strikeouts. So he didn't strike out too much, 2 stolen bases in 49 games. And then you look at this year, a little bit disappointing. He did have a really red hot start. I think Sox can attribute to that because it was, of course, against the Red Sox.
Fucking killed the Red Sox
season. But overall this year, he's 14 home runs, 38 ribbies. Power's there, but he just needs to be more of a consistent hitter. For right now, I'm going to rule that an undetermined trade because it looks like Alcantara is doing well. I don't know where the hell Vizcaino is, but Anthony Rizzo last year worked. He struggled a little bit this year. Your thoughts on that trade?
I think you win that trade because you bring in a guy that's been there and done that at the big league level, like you said, or like I said. I'm trying to win right now. Like you don't know what these prospects are going to do. It could turn into another. God knows all these guys the Red Sox are trading away for 1-year contracts, 2-year deals. I like Rizzo. I believe hitting 209 this year.
209.
30 scored 32 runs. He's got 38 RBIs. That's not bad at all. I say the Yankees win that trade from the outside looking in. He's only 32 years old. He'll play for years to come.
Yeah, he's got another year next year, and he's also got an option. So if the Yankees, he either feels underpaid or the Yankees, don't want him, he's got an option, so he can opt out. But then again, that would leave us with a major hole at first base. Adam Ottavino too, yes, MH. Adam Ottavino, the former Yankee. I feel for Mac Jones, he has to deal with Joe Judge. At least Daniel Jones doesn't. Yeah, I mean, Patriots and quarterbacks with the last name of Jones don't really work together. We've seen that the last 2 years. We'll see it probably again this year. Then again, I hope to be wrong, but then again, I don't care to be wrong because it's the Patriots.
I mean, some could say that it's the other way around. They feel bad for, or they're glad that Joe Judge doesn't have to deal with Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Jets mess says Rizzo and Hicks for the All-Star game. I would rather do Rizzo, but at the same time, Hicks sucks. And I know he was just joking around with that. This one I really like. This is probably the best trade right now. Hoyjin Park and Diego Castillo, who I think made some major league appearances, both of them for the Pirates, for Clay Holmes. Now, at the time of the trade, I actually wasn't a fan of this. A guy coming over who had like a next to 4 or 5 ERA. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? But last year with the Yankees, he was 5-2 with a 1.61 ERA. That is a big jump from 4.93. Total of 34 strikeouts, 28 innings pitched. And then you look at him this year, and when they come out with the pitching voting, he should be an all-star. 4-0, 0.34 ERA, 25 games, 26 2/3 innings pitched, 8 saves. He's been better
100%.
than Aroldis Chapman, and he's been the best in the bullpen by far. 28 strikeouts, I think I already mentioned that. You take a look at the other side of the ball, Hoyjun Park. I'm going to try to get up his stats right now. He is hitting 219 in Indianapolis, which is the minor league, the AAA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then in the big leagues, he's hitting 214. So I wanted him to work out, but at the same time, when you're on the outside looking in back on it, he's not a Major League Baseball player. And then the other guy, Diego Castillo, who did once again get some action, not the one from the Mariners, of course, but the Pirates. Diego Castillo this year, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, 218 batting average. Also, his stats in Altoona. Actually, no, not Altoona. Actually started the year with the Pirates and is still with the Pirates. 218, 33 strikeouts, 7 walks. I say the Yankees definitely win that trade. Your thoughts, Sox?
100%. These numbers are sticking out for sure. And he didn't have a bad year, in 2021. Not at all. But this year, these numbers stick out. 0.34 ERA in 25 games, 4-0. This guy should be an all-star 100%.
Unbelievable. Definitely. And here is another one. I hate this trade. Probably one of the trades that I will hate going down in history. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. That trade is the Yankees trading for Andrew Heaney. I didn't support it at the time, or at least I think I didn't. I could be wrong, though. Could definitely be wrong. He was traded to the New York Yankees for right-handed pitcher Jansen Junk and outfielder Elvis Peguero. So this year, Jansen Junk is 0-2 with a 4.25 ERA, 6 games started, 20 strikeouts, 29.2 innings pitched. And then 265 batting average against. Then last year when he went over to the Angels minor league system, 2-2, 5.27 ERA, 281 batting average against. And it's weird though, because when he went over there, his stats blew up. In Somerset, he was very good. 4.1, 1.78 ERA, 185 batting average against. Then he moved to Elvis Peguero, who actually got some time with the Angels a little bit this year. Actually, he's a relief pitcher. I thought he was an outfielder. Guess I was wrong on that one. But Elvis Peguero with the Angels this year, 20.25 ERA. So in the 1.1 inning pitch, in the 1 and the third innings pitch that he obviously had, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 home runs given up. So not very good. And then with Salt Lake, 3-0, 3.15 ERA, 20 innings pitched, a total of 27 strikeouts. Then he was with their, I think it's their Double-A affiliate. Actually, no, that was he was actually with the what do you call it? I think he was with the Mexican League, Dominican Winter League. Actually, never mind. He was actually with the Dominican Winter League, and there 3.75 ERA, 12 innings pitched, 13 hits given up, and 13 strikeouts. So a bit of a shaky pitcher, both of them at least. And it's that's his name, Jansen Junk, MH. But it's weird to see Junk go so bad like that. In terms of Andrew Heaney, now I have to put bleach over my eyes.
He hasn't played this year, has he?
No, he has not.
Maybe. Oh, he played 1 game this year.
Yep, he played 1 game.
2 games.
Yeah, he actually started 2 games. A total of 16 strikeouts in those 2 games, 10.1 innings pitched. So it looks like he did good.
Yeah.
However, with the Yankees last year, he was 2-2, 7.32 ERA, 5 games started, 12 games in total, 35.2 innings pitched, 29 earned runs, 13 home runs given up, 10 walks, 37 strikeouts. And one of his first starts, I could have put bleach over my eyes once again because he gave up like 3 home runs in a row to Orioles players. Players, not Red Sox, not Blue Jays, not Rays, not Mets. Fucking Orioles players. I'm like, this guy sucks.
Well, it looked like he started good this year, I'm assuming he got injured, but that sucks.
And he's a fly ball pitcher. Whoever thought that was going to be a good idea at Yankee Stadium?
Yankee Stadium, yeah, right.
Nobody thought that. So in terms of the trades that only worked for the Yankees, the Rizzo trade seems to be on the up a little bit, but that's not saying a lot. And once again, I'm not a prospect hugger. Clay Holmes, that's a win right there. Joey Gallo trade is a loss. Andrew Heaney trade is a loss for, I guess, Jansen Junk's still with them. And he's got time to develop. So I guess undetermined. And then for the Heaney part of that trade, we lost that. So, we'll see what they do at the deadline this year. Obviously, I want 2 outfielders, even though it's probably not going to happen. I want 2 outfielders and at least a bullpen arm. Maybe Adam Frazier in that process. But I think we can start wrapping it up from here. Sox, you are going to the game tonight against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Preview your thoughts, if anything, and just final thoughts overall.
I just am so happy that I get to go and see my favorite ball club, the team that is always, 3,000 plus miles away from me that I grew up watching on TV. I get to actually be there and enjoy the game. So I went on Monday and I'm going back up today and it's well worth it for me. And we get to see Shohei Ohtani pitch tonight. Last time I went, I believe was last season, the 2021 season. Shohei Ohtani was scheduled to pitch against, the Tampa Bay Rays. And about 20 minutes or so before game time, he got scratched. And we didn't get to see him. So tonight, if he ends up being one of the greatest players of all time, I'll be like, hey, I got to watch him. So I'm excited. Hopefully the Red Sox can win. The Angels are on a huge losing streak. Red Sox have won 7 in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 7 in a row. And I'm going to enjoy my time. So go Sox. And good podcast today for sure.
Yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to both channels. We'll see about tomorrow being live for the Celtics game. I might have some stuff to do, which one thing I just dislike is not getting on a stream on time and like doing half of a game because like that's not really my thing. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night, guys. Keep updated on Twitter. I don't know how to post to my community notes, so if I could, I would update you guys through there as well, because that's where a lot of my subscribers would see stuff. So go over to Sox's channel, go over to Big Beat Reactions, and subscribe there. He's always doing those music reactions videos. I'll be heading to a Mets game next Tuesday, so you'll hear about my my experience then. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. But until next time. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool. Have a good night. Peace.